The investigation into the assassination attempt against former President Trump is still ongoing. The motive of the shooter remains unclear as the FBI combs through Butler, Pennsylvania, where the rally and the shooting, of course, took place. Fox News correspondent Matt Finn is live with the latest. Good evening, Matt.
Hi, Jonathan. You can see behind me, police are still manning the crime scene 24/7. Earlier today, I did a loop around the property, and we could still see a lot of the rally materials still standing, including the risers and the patriotic banners. Kind of eerie to see. It's pretty much untouched. Pennsylvania State Police are fiercely protecting it. They tell us that it is an active crime scene. And we also have some new exclusive video to show you the chaos of the aftermath of last Saturday's shooting. If we play that video on the left side of your screen, the bottom corner, you could see law enforcement desperately crashing through a fence at the rally site to allow police to get access to the roof where the shooter was. Ultimately, law enforcement gets through that fence and rushes toward the building where the alleged shooter, Thomas Matthew Crooks, fired his shots, killing one man, critically injuring two other people, and grazing President Trump's ear. The law enforcement got onto the top of that roof, and tonight there is a lot of conflicting information about why that roof was apparently left so wide open. In an interview today, the head of Secret Service claims it was because the roof is sloped and dangerous for a sniper to position themselves on, but that is being intensely criticized. Now, the person who shot this on their cell phone pans over to the right, and we see the unfolding attempted assassination of President Trump from this angle, showing Secret Service hovering around former President Trump. The crowd devolves into chaos, but then the crowd cheers as Mr. Trump gets back on his feet and gives that now historic fist pump in the air. We also learned that the viewing and the funeral services for the man who was shot and killed at that rally are scheduled for Thursday and Friday here in Pennsylvania. We have crews who plan on being at those services, and we'll keep you updated. Jonathan.
Matt, thank you. So many questions still to be answered about the security on that fateful day. Thank you, Matt. Molly?
Day 2 of the Republican National Convention is focusing on safety and security. It follows reports that the Secret Service ramped up security after an alleged Iranian plot to assassinate former President Donald Trump. However, the plot has no known connection to the suspected rally gunman, Thomas Crooks. Joining us now is Luis Valdes, a former law enforcement officer. Thank you, sir, for joining us. We just listened to Matt Finn's report. He noted that the gentleman who was killed, who was the Trump fan, Trump rally goer, Corey Comparatori, will be laid to rest very shortly, which underscores, I think, that not only was former President Trump's life in danger, but all of the people at this rally were also in a considerable amount of danger. What do you make of the story from the head of the Secret Service about a sloped roof? Because in that new video that we see that was shot there on the scene, officers climb up there and appear to be standing on this roof without too much of a problem. So what do you make of the idea that the sloped roof is a problem?
The sloped roof is an absolute joke and a horrible excuse, because the counter sniper team that was posted there that actually took the shot that saved President Trump's life and the crowd's lives were themselves on a sloped roof. So it's absolute bupkis that the roof in of itself was the issue. The issue here was that you have a failure in security, you had a failure in command, and you had a failure in setting everything up. Look, as a former law enforcement officer, I can tell you this. When it comes to protective operations, the entire purpose is threat mitigation. You cannot make everything 100% foolproof. But by God, you do use your assets properly, and the assets weren't set up properly in this instance.
How apparent do you think it was that they weren't set up, that a better job could have been done in the area around where this rally took place?
Well, the issue always comes down to a manpower issue. The Secret Service, when they come in, they always sweep an area, they check it, they declare it, they mark it safe, and then usually they'll use local law enforcement or other federal agencies from local field offices, and they'll post them in certain locations to keep those areas secure. Now, something here didn't go right. And the question is, was this a local agency issue? Was this a Secret Service agency issue? Or was this just an overall cascade of failures that built up on one upon another? The end result here is that, sadly, one American lost their lives. A former president and a current candidate was almost assassinated. And Americans have had their rights now violated because they are fearful of simply exercising their political beliefs and being the victims of the target of victimization by the dehumanization that the left has caused and targeted against them and gun owners as a whole.
You raised something a moment ago about the back and forth between local law enforcement and the Secret Service. And Patrick Yos, he's the national president of the Fraternal Order of the Police, talked about this. He expressed some confusion about what he was hearing, the contradictory statements coming from the United States Secret Service. On Monday, the director of the Secret Service, Kimberly Cheadle, did this live interview on ABC, and she talked about local police in that area being responsible for the outer perimeter. And then later on, they say they have difficulty. Their goal is to provide whatever assistance. Security is simply not true. What do you make of the back and forth there? I'm sorry, we only have about 30 seconds left.
Well, the back and forth is right now the U.S. Secret Service ultimately takes full responsibility. The buck stops with them. And the director is trying to shift blame. It's a horrible thing. And as we see with the director and as we see with politicians, of course, they're going to focus this on guns. They're going to focus this on Republicans. They're going to focus this on Americans. Well, that's not the case. It's the fault of the Secret Service.
Thank you, Luis Valdes. We appreciate it. Thank you for your time. We'll be right back.